caught me at an inopportune time. The game hasn't arrived yet. But while we're waiting, I'd like to share something with you. For the first time since WrestleBound began, I'm happy. You heard me right. Happy as can be. I'm a happy Alex. In fact, I'm so happy, I'm considering changing the name of this show to HappyBound. As a matter of fact, I've already mocked up this logo for it, and I wanted to get your input if you could just...
Special delivery for my dipshit brother.
Well, about time you were good for something. Anyway, this is the final piece of the puzzle for today's episode. All about the many ports of WrestleMania. The arcade... Alright, which one of you sick fucks did this to me? Cody, the next time I see your face, you're a dead man! Obviously, I was expecting something else, that being the 32X port of WrestleMania. Instead, some piece of shit had the bright idea to send me this latest disaster from the combo of World Wrestling Entertainment and 2K Sports. WWE 2K Battlegrounds is the 8th game made by 2K since they took the helm in 2013 after THQ's bankruptcy. It can be best described as a slight departure or even a spin-off from the regular series, and that's because of the very negative reception 2K20 got, leading to the cancellation of 2K21 and being replaced by whatever the hell this is. Battlegrounds was developed by Saber Interactive, who are best known for their remakes of the Halo series and porting The Witcher 3 to Switch, as well as their own titles like NBA Playgrounds. The game was released worldwide on September 18th, 2020 for Stadia, but who really gives a crap about that, Windows, Xbox One, PS4, and the Switch, the latter of which being the first time in 3 years since 2K17 ran Mark Henry levels of slow. It can support up to 4 players, and the ESRB rated it a T for teen. I'll give it credit for one thing, its box art makes the game look semi-fun. Icons like Stone Cold and The Rock take up most of the cover, with current stars like The Fiend and Charlotte Flair, as well as legendary giants Andre and Yokozuna duke it out in the background. Of course, there's the shiny official product sticker. I think it's redundant to have it nowadays. The back not only predicted the future feud between the tribal chief and the man who can't be seen, but also shoehorned in all the ways it can use battle and their selling points. I guess this episode is good to highlight that we just don't go over retro games on WrestleBound. This actually came still sealed. I just wish it was a different and better game, but we still have to wait for those. For now, let's break the seal nice and easy with multiple camera angles that would make Kevin Dunn proud. Look at this. So much garbage on one tiny cartridge. May my death be quick and painless. In the back of my mind, I knew this day would come, but I didn't think it'd be soon. But in a way, it's good to do it now so I don't ever have to look at it again. We're not off to a good start already, as we have to go through some shitty license agreement and terms of service, which is unfortunately part of most modern gaming experiences. You know, I'm not one to drink, as a certain chick magnet punk showed me the ways of being straight edge. But if I were to start, now would be a good time. Before we head into a 1v1, I just want to point out the weird menu selection of there being a men and women exhibitions. It'd be fine if they were different, but they aren't. They have the exact same matches to choose from.
Was it too hard to have them in the same character select menu, like most wrestling games did in one way or another?
On the subject of character select, just looking at it now, it's very lackluster at the start. There's a lot of mid-card and tag wrestlers here, and it also reminded me who was still employed at the time of its release. You have a few legends and main eventers here and there, but there's very little that me, and I'm sure others would want to play as.
No disrespect to any of them, but it also shows off the fact that WWE hasn't made enough star power to make me care.
This is so sad that I'm not going to waste my regular joke on this pitiful selection. I'm just going to pick
the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be
to go against El Generico. The real conspiracy is out there.
Just to let you know, my Joy-Cons are of course suffering from the drift, so if I lose, I have a good excuse for that. And another to drink more.
The entrances are also weird with the wrestlers breaking out of crates. If I knew that, I would have put Big Show against Undertaker to recreate that one segment where there was a puppy.
WWE has always broke the cardinal sin of not working with children or animals. Now how long will it take for them to work with EA?
Probably as long as it'll take for the game to shut up with its tutorials. The controls were simple enough to get the hang of, but the game just had to interrupt me in the middle of things to tell me how to do the simplest of shit, like doing combo punches or how to pull off a reversal, which by the way is a random button every time. Other games make this less annoying, and you honestly don't think I could figure most of this out with the prompts over my head? The commentators are annoying as well, mostly with the way Jerry was asked to do his. It's like he was told to keep going expecting something epic, but it's wasted on moments like this.
Oh, what's he got in mind here? Oh, this has begun. Oh, it is great!
Marlowe's also here, but he's more muted than Jerry. It's like they switched roles and wasted his potential. Fuck JBL.
But like I said, these controls were simple enough that I was able to win this real quick. It was like a 5-minute match, Attitude Era length. Before anyone says anything, this is on normal. I've learned from my mistakes last time.
Oh, and if you want to see how all the buttons and controls work, here's a detailed representation as shown by the game. I'm too damn lazy to do it myself for this game.
So that went real quick, which I don't mind at all. So let's quickly run through all the other match types on offer. We have tag and tornado tag, so I'm only going to show it off once. And by the way, you can change the match configuration prior to confirming your characters, but there isn't much to change as I haven't played too much of it right now.
And I'll give you a hint, I'm not going to be playing much of it afterwards.
I will say the presentation is decent, and that's saying a lot, especially for a Switch game. It has an arcadey feel, reminding me of something like WrestleFest or All-Stars in some ways.
But as we know, it has its faults. We'll get to those as they happen, but I think Cody is failing at trying to make me suffer. Can you not read, dumbass? I didn't get that for you, someone else did. Well, who did send this? Sora Bocage? I mean, thanks, but screw you too, your name's weird.
At the end of a match, you'll get some XP to level up something, as well as getting some battle bucks. Don't know what those are? We'll get to those too. I was a little excited to try out a cage match and decided to put one of wrestling's recent greatest creations against the worst in celebrity.
I say that, but who the fuck is Laheem Lillard? Is this WWE's counter to AEW Shaq?
Little did I know that this is where the cracks started to come through. Before the match there was some slowdown when surfing characters, and loading takes a good while, but they have some tips for you to keep you busy. Now this isn't your typical cage match. In this you have to be the first one to accumulate enough cash from these randomly appearing money bags, and then you can escape.
It's a Money in the Bank cage match. And it's stupid.
I didn't think the bog standard cage match became stale, but someone else did and thought this would spice things up. But in actuality, it's just as bad as the Ambrose Asylum. I think if they just had the electrified fence, that'd be enough for a gimmick.
A wrestling game can pull that off. Actual wrestling promotions can't.
Unfortunately, I lost to Gronk due to lack of funds, only showing the corporate machine will keep going, even without talent.
Wyndham Rotunda, I wish you the best. It shouldn't be long. Any promotion is going to let you in.
Let's change it up and go to the women. Their selection is just as pitiful as I can barely pick a proper tag team to do a steel cage 2v2. By the way, I'm sure you've noticed this meter down here. As you perform more moves, you'll build up not only your specials meter, but this meter as well that can make you activate one of 3 powers with the directional buttons, but I hardly used it at all. There wasn't any real change to gameplay here and I lost faster in this scenario.
How much did this game cost? 20 bucks? Here, Sora. Have a 20. I'd feel sorry that you had to buy this game for me.
Now on to the triple threat where there was more to highlight, both good and bad. I chose the top lady wrestlers and Stephanie McMahon and figured Charlotte would get me back to my winning ways. But then I got thrown in a casket. Some arenas have themed objects outside the ring that can do a number on an opponent. At least I hope as much as these weapons would. They look like squeaky sledges.
Going from a hard PG to a G.
I've started to notice that the moves are getting repetitive. Each wrestler has a class they're assigned to, and I assume that goes to their move sets, as I'm seeing some shared moves between a majority of the wrestlers. There's an obvious lack of depth in that area that I'm getting kinda bored with the simplicity. I didn't think I'd be saying that today, but I didn't think winning could be lackluster either.
I'm getting so bored, I'm just gonna skip the remaining matches. Fatal 4-Way just adds another person, I don't have enough roster members to do a proper Royal Rumble, and not even a gauntlet match can get this game over.
Though it has its faults, the base gameplay is playable and maybe fun in its small amounts. But it is bad for a reason, and I'm sure we're bound to find it in one of the other modes. Funny that options isn't represented by a menu, but a mere button. Gonna shut the commentator straight up, and this is where you can look at the button layout and check out a list of moves if you want to try pulling them off. First proper menu I selected is Superstars. The good news is I found where all the other wrestlers were. Bad news is they're all behind a paywall.
For fuck's sake, can microtransactions stay off my video games and go back to mobile devices where they belong? I hate mobile gaming because it exposed the greediness of some game studios to get more money as opposed to making great games, and exploiting their audience's cash for the stupidest of shit that could advance yourself forward because you don't have enough money to continue or do anything unless you have this or that. If I were president, I'd ban that shit in a heartbeat. Just give us difficult games and challenges like the good old days, or are you too money hungry and lazy to do that?
Not sorry for that tangent, just had to get that off my chest. But this is where all the main stars you would want to play are either going to cost you a good amount of your blue battle bucks, or a pretty penny of gold bucks if you so choose to go that route, and I don't know anybody who's desperate enough to play as Typhoon.
I'd be more pissed if there wasn't other methods to unlock these wrestlers, but are you really gonna play this game more to get these wrestlers? Are you?
It's funny to look at this roster and count how many of them aren't with the company anymore, but we gotta move on to bigger and shittier things. There's a daily challenge which I believe could fix the issue of microtransactions. That is, if the challenges were interesting.
If there was a challenge thing for every wrestler to go through to unlock some more things, that I would like. I'm thinking if it were like Smash. Which this fucking ain't.
I saw there's this Ultimate Brawlers Pass that you can get on the eShop. I went to look for the hell of it, but I couldn't find it anywhere at all.
It'd be funny if Nintendo took it down, but I imagine it was expensive since you can unlock 75 wrestlers because of it. That's another thing Smash does, right? DLC. Take some notes, 2K, goddamn.
The store isn't a store. It's I don't know. Battleground Creator is your create an arena mode. It's a capable one, but it too also has some things locked away through the dumb bucks, but I don't need those. I got enough to come up with something memorable. Since I'm one of those at like a certain level of blood and guts, I tried to come up with something that reflected the blood. Kind of ironic trying to do that on a modern WWE game, but anyway, this is what I came up with. And now, WrestleBound presents Bloodbound. The same can be said about creating a superstar. Not the worst I've seen, but again suffers the fate of having some of the more interesting shit behind the paywall. Seriously, I'm not gonna play this enough just to wear that crap, and as a result, this is the closest I got to creating myself.
Again, not the worst I've seen or even done, but it could definitely be better. Hope he'll do me good in the campaign mode. Oh, this isn't one of those, huh? Where I can choose my wrestler? So I just made myself for nothing? Shit, that's brutal.
The campaign has an interesting plot with Paul Heyman and Stone Cold getting together to form a new wrestling promotion, and it's all told through a comic strip, which I don't mind.
If I learned anything from WWE and comics, is that they can be really fucked up later and exist. Stone Cold is sent scouting some parts of the world, first in New York where he runs into Bolo. What is with these names today? That's my story so far. So what's my first feud? Oh god. Oh, someone had to know or had a memo that said everybody goes through Baron Corbin. He's like the new Dolph Ziggler, only worse.
I'll be on air today.
Besides the story elements, the campaign doesn't have enough substance to keep it interesting, and I played it for a while to give it a chance. There's plenty of it to go through, and I made it to the second jobber, Skinner 2.0. You can unlock more shit if you branch off the main storyline and battle in more matches, but this isn't one of those games to do that. You probably fall asleep at the controls. The last mode I could do was the Battleground Challenge, where you can take your CAW, put them through various tasks to do basically the same as campaign, but on a much larger scale.
I could only stomach one match, not because I got sick of it, but because that's where this goat drilled me. Oh, that's worse than a spear. Or what happened with Terry Funk and a horse. Or Big Show after Guerrero's tacos.
Every other mode I went through wasn't able to be played due to the fact that they were online-only modes, and Nintendo requires you to have a subscription to play online.
I'm of the opinion that online gaming should be free since we already pay enough for our internet providers and to get the console and the games. Give us a break, will ya? Actually, Bocage, I'm gonna keep that 20 I promised you, because I might need it for this service later.
To the surprise of nobody, the game received mixed to negative reception, not just on the Switch, but across all platforms. My favorite quote comes from Games Radar, criticizing the game, saying WWE's gaming presence has reached rock bottom. A great play on words, but I agree fully with the statement. Though it might be a one-off, as 2K will be going back to its regular series formula with 2K22 coming soon. 2K and Visual Concepts have to make up for the last two entries, but considering those and the current climate of sports games, certain publishers, and World Wrestling Entertainment's current habit for money, I don't think we'll be seeing much of anything.
It's been a good while since I played any modern wrestling game. After 4 years, I did play 2K18, but it ran like shit. This year we had other games like Retromania release, and AEW announced its game is coming next year. Now I can't wait to get my hands on those, as they'll hopefully be better offerings than anything the WWE is offering now.
I will say it's not as bad as I thought it would be. The controls are easy and intuitive where you can pick it up and play no problem, and the presentation for the most part is fine minus the occasional technical hiccup. What can't be ignored is the overuse of microtransactions integrated into this game. I wouldn't be surprised if this was meant to be a mobile game at first, but that's where it could have fared better. This kind of crap isn't welcome to any game in my mind. I just hate this trend in general. It doesn't help that because of this, the game is very stale at face value, short on depth, substance, and what makes a wrestling game really good? Hardly a roster to begin with and various options to customize blocked behind paywalls. Even if you had the funds, the game itself isn't really that fun to go through the effort or waste the money on. It could be enjoyable, but only for a short amount of time. There isn't much to keep you going. I'd say just go play Retromania Wrestling if you're in real need of the arcade-like wrestling action today. Like I am right now. Desperately. But I at least made enough bucks to unlock Edge.
There is a game here, just not enough of it, or at least that's allowed without too much effort or paying out. It's not the worst I've played, but the microtransactions just kill it. And that reason alone gets this 1 star from me. I wonder who was this Sora Bocage. Hold on there. That looks familiar. Where have I seen this before? Oh my good God. Of course, that's what you get for flipping me off on the call. Oh, and I took your 20 bucks, thank you very much. Adios, sucker.